morning, dear student. Myself Vinod Singh. Today I will teach you class 11th biology first chapter living world. First of all, we discussed the living. That means what is the living? Living means is a life process. That means life is unique, complex organization of molecule that express itself through chemical reaction which lead to growth, development, responsiveness, adaptation, and reproduction. The objects that exhibit growth, development, responsiveness, and other characteristics of life are seen as living beings. They have their own specific form of structure. Based on these characteristics, the living objects can be recognized as tree, shrub, cattle, birds, fungi, bacteria, etc. as specific shape, size, and structure is also present in many non-living objects such as bricks or rock. First of all, we discussed about the living characters. That means there are certain distinct characters exhibited by living organism which distinguish the living organism from non-living organism. These characteristics includes growth, reproduction, cellular organization, metabolism, consciousness, that means ability to sense the environment, response to the environmental stimuli, self-replication, self-regulation, evolving and interacting system. That means first of all discussed about the growth, increase in mass and increase in number of individuals are twin characteristics of growth. Multicellular organisms grow by cell division. Unicellular organisms also multiply by cell division. In plant, the growth by cell division occurs continuously throughout their lifespan. In animal, the growth is seen only up to certain age. However, in animal cell division occurs in certain tissues to replace lost cell. Generally, the increase in body mass is considered as growth. If we take increase in body mass as a certain form of growth, non-living objects, example, mountain, boulders, and sand mounds also grow. However, the growth exhibited by non-living objects is by accumulation of material on the surface. In living organisms, growth is formed inside. Hence, growth cannot be taken as a defining property of living organism. Conditions under which it occurs have to explain for considering the growth as characteristics of living systems. Growth, that means a dead organism does not grow. And second characteristics of living organism is reproduction. The process of reproduction of progeny processing feature more or less similar to those of parent is called reproduction. Organisms reproduce by asexual and sexual means. That means unicellular organism like bacteria, unicellular algae, amoeba, etc. reproduce or multiply by cell division. In these organisms, reproduction is synonymous with growth. That means increase in number of cell. As already defined, growth are equivalent to increase the cell number or mass in single cell organism. Hence, in single cell organism, we are not very clear about uses of these two terms, growth and reproduction. There are many organisms which do not reproduce, as like example mule, sterile, worker bee, infertile human, couplets, etc. Hence, reproduction also cannot be an all-inclusion defining characteristics of living organism. Of course, no non-living object is capable of reproducing itself. And third characters of living process is very important, that is a metabolism, that means is process of main living characteristics feature. All living organisms are made of chemical called biomolecules. These biomolecules are constantly being made and changed into some other biomolecules. These conversions are called metabolic reaction. In this process, the sum total of all the chemical reaction occurring in the body of living organism is called metabolism. In this process, will also some isolated metabolic reaction can be demonstrated in utero, that means outside the body of an organism in the test tube. Such reactions are not living things but can be considered living reaction. Hence, metabolism and cellular organization of living organisms are considered as defining characteristics of living being. That means fourth living characters of life process means to living consciousness, that means ability to senses of environment. All organisms from prokaryote to the most complex eukaryotes have the ability to sense their surrounding or environment and response to these environmental stimuli, which could be physical, chemical and biological system. All organisms are aware of their surrounding. Human being is the only organism to have self consciousness, that means to be aware of himself, that means know about the nature. Consciousness therefore becomes the defining properties of living organism. That means it becomes more difficult to defining the living state when it comes to a human being. For instance, a patient lying in the coma has no self-consciousness, that means cannot be considered as non-living things. Thank you.